Hey everybody, this is Darth Bryboy here. Long time no see. Welcome to 2022, the first video of 2022, about a topic I didn't want to talk about, or a topic I have been struggling with. You know, there are some videos where I think I've already talked about it. Odds are, I've said my piece, I've summarized my thoughts to the best I can, put it in video form, put it up there. It is what it is. But sometimes there are videos where I look at them and I go, well, now you got more idiots out there. Now you got more people spreading misinformation, who are bad faith actors, who are spreading ideologies that could get people killed. That's why I talked about white supremacy a lot. That's why I called Trump a fascist. But what's fucked up about this particular video is the fact that I'm probably going to have to defend former President Trump about one thing. One little thing. I am so fucking fed up with anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers. I remember vaguely, I think maybe 2015, I did a video about them. You know the saying, if it looks like bullshit, smells like bullshit, it's probably bullshit. So I heard these arguments back in the day, and I looked into it, into who said it. And the guy who made these claims about vaccines, not the COVID vaccines, vaccines in general, basically got his medical license taken away for being so full of shit. And yet people who are anti-vaxxers still cite this asshole. Now, what I've often noticed with these people is they will often cherry-pick data to fit their own agenda. And they're usually loud, they're usually boisterous type of people. They're usually very irrational and are screaming in your face and looking like the biggest dumbass in the world. Why you see these random videos of people going to supermarkets without a mask, making a scene, acting like a fucking fool, going, I don't want to wear a mask. You can't tell me to wear a mask. I have blah, blah, blah. They'll usually pull some bullshit about divinity, about Christianity, which, oh, what a fucking surprise there. Fucking far-right assholes using the Bible to rationalize their ignorance. Same shit, different day there. You look at people who I just described there. What's their breaking point with former President Trump? It's the vaccine shit. They'll call him evil. They'll call him old. They'll say, well, he doesn't do his own independent research. I.e., I looked at some right-wing schlock, and I'm going to use that as my source, even though there is no credibility to that source, and it's bullshit. But okay, I independently researched it. Even though, in situations like that, as I've stated time and time again, if you were to present this shit in a paper for a college course, you'd be laughed at by the professor, or you'd get a failing grade, unless the professor who is teaching that course was also out of their fucking mind. When it comes to vaccines, what's the agenda? It's for the greater good of the public, making sure we stamp out this virus as best we can. It's FDA approved, it's proven to be highly effective. You won't fucking die of COVID if you get COVID, because of the Delta variant and because of the fucking Omicron variant, which I guarantee I'm mispronouncing, by the way, and I do apologize for that. But I was getting a haircut yesterday. And we started talking about vaccines. And of course my barber and one of the customers were like, I like your stance on it. You know, you got like a very rational stance on it, which is, hey, it's for the public good. You know, I trust the science behind it. I've been raised in a family that often trusts science and medical professionals, and is very data-oriented. I've been very fortunate to grow up in a household that values data, and values reliable data. However, there are people who do not have that. And then they start using the internet, and they're not properly trained on what is and is not a reliable source. Hell, even if you're trained on it, you're still gonna probably be recommended shit that you know in your gut is bullshit. I remember when I was in 8th grade, and Jesus Christ, this was 10 years ago, this was probably 10 years ago or more than 10 years ago at this point. No, this was 11 years ago. Holy fuck. Time is crazy. And one of the sources, they said, oh, you can cite Fox News. And I was like, why? And they're like, well, because that can be considered a reliable source. And I was like, why? It's Fox News. They are notoriously biased. And this was 10 to 11 years ago. So we already know, post-Trump, it's gotten worse. And it would be great if we were all united on this one front. Getting things back to normal. You'll often hear people on the right saying, I just want things to go back to normal, or I want some type of normalcy. Everyone wants some type of normalcy. They want something to just work well. They're tired of being at home. And when you're at home all the time, you're in your own fucking head all the fucking time. So what do these people do? They get isolated. They start getting into conspiracy theories. They start promoting conspiracy theories. They start wishing death upon people who have a different political agenda than them. They start rationalizing political violence that is offensive and that is fucking terrifying. They'll attack healthcare workers. They'll attack doctors. They'll berate them. They'll be like, you're not using ivermectin. Oh my god, you're not using ivermectin. Fucking horse dewormer, which makes you shit out your intestines. Oh my god. Okay, ivermectin has been proven to not fucking work. I'm gonna cite that in the description for you dumbasses who are like, use ivermectin, use vitamin C and D and all this other shit. Anything but the vaccine monoclonal antibodies, which were developed by the same pharmaceutical company that developed the vaccine. But you trust that, but you don't trust the vaccine. You listen to Joe Rogan, who has no credentials in the medical field whatsoever. You can't rationalize crazy. This is the thing that made me want to make this rant, or rambling rant, at this fucking point. Because it hurts. I consider myself a very empathetic person. I try to empathize with people, even people who I fucking despise. Even people who would want my Jewish ass dead. I try my best to go, well, what is the root to it? What is the root to their bullshit? And every time I hear a story about some anti-vax person dying, or someone pushing against vaccine mandates dying, or someone pushing the medical freedom jargon dying of COVID, I feel nothing. I feel numb to it. And I feel shameful for admitting that. Because that's a human being. That's someone who has a family. And then you watch these news stories. Like, I remember watching this thing in Alabama, where this person was hooked up to this ventilator. And they were like, I still don't want to take the vaccine. Or in other cases, they were like, please, give me the vaccine. For the love of God, give me the vaccine. Make this end. And the doctor will tell them it's too late. I can't even imagine the fucking mental hell. Like, what that does to a person over time. Think about it. You're a doctor. You've trained your entire fucking life to save lives, to give advice to patients about how to best help them with their health and their well-being. And you're in a hospital where you're trying to help these people who are dying because of their own stupidity, who are desperate now. Desperate. Or in denial. I've heard news stories where people are in denial that they have COVID because they can't even process that it's real because they've been so brainwashed to believe that COVID isn't real, even though the numbers are there. And I can't even get over the fact that you have people so in denial, so fucking out of their mind, that they'll keep pushing this bad data. You have these dishonest actors who are like, oh, everybody's crazy. Everybody's crazy because they're still wearing masks, or they're getting the vaccines, these highly effective things that are preventative measures against COVID. But no, I'm a fucking idiot with a podcast show, or I'm a guy who voted for Trump, and I'm going to push this bad data. Oh, and when my guy actually has a moment of clarity where it's like, oh my god, you just backed the science up. You just said something rational. What the fuck? I find it really ironic that a man like Donald Trump, who is so notoriously anti-vax, and you can't anymore because Twitter's gone, but I'm sure if you go back on the Wayback Machine or find some archives, you'll find shit where Donald Trump is pushing anti-vax rhetoric. Now is wanting to take credit for pushing the coronavirus vaccine response, which, alright, fuck it. You want to take credit for that? Take credit for that. I don't give a fuck. It was the only decent thing you did in your COVID response. But, of course, when you were transitioning from your administration to the Biden administration, which there was no fucking transition, really, you didn't leave Biden with anything to really work with. So he had to scramble his administration to get a rollout plan as quick as possible. But going back to the topic of empathy, I despise what this pandemic has done to me in terms of my empathy. Because I don't want to hate anti-vax people. I don't want to read news stories of an anti-vaxxer dying of fucking COVID and going, well, played stupid games, win stupid prizes. I don't want that to be my fucking response. And I fucking hate that is the response that will come into my fucking head when I read something like that. I despise these people who are pushing this anti-vax misinformation and then claiming that the people who are countering them and calling them out on their shit are in some conspiracy to take them down or delegitimize them when they've done that themselves by pushing blatant misinformation. I don't want to mention any names because I don't have patience for it. And that's the long and short of it, man. Like, I came down here wanting to make this loud, classic, pissed off rant video. But all I'm doing is being like, what the fuck? At the end of the day, that's what this shit boils down to. It's a big what the fuck moment. I question how people can be so stupid. How people can just be so ignorant. But, we've had these things in the past that prove that people in American society are reactionary and selfish. And will do things that fuck things up for everybody else. I'm also just fucking sick of, alright. This is the shit I gotta address. Fuck you if you go, oh, it's just like being a Jew in Nazi Germany, or being conservative nowadays like being a Jew in Nazi Germany, or being against the vaccines, or not wanting to wear a mask. Oh, you're like a Nazi. You're like a Nazi. Oh, please, kindly go fuck yourself. And please, kindly dunk your head into some fucking hot water. Or some cold water, because maybe that'll knock some fucking sense into your dumb ass. How fucking dare you have the audacity to fucking make something as trivial as wearing a piece of fabric or getting a fucking shot and comparing that to the suffering of my people, of my ancestors? How fucking dare you do that? You don't even fucking know the horrors of the medical experiments of the Nazi regime. You don't fucking know the depths and the evils of the Nazis. You have no fucking comprehension of what evil is. If you are comparing, I can't go to some random business because I don't want to wear a mask. Oh, you're a Nazi because you don't want me to breathe a deadly disease on you. Please, go fuck yourself. And maybe it's that. Maybe that's the fucking reason why I can't empathize with these fucking anti-vax motherfuckers. Because they pull this shit. They're often so arrogant, so stupid, so drunk on their own bullshit that there is no rationalizing with them. Do you realize how terrifying that is? Truly? To not even be able to find some rational thing to understand a person's thought process? To not understand the sense of entitlement some people have? Because that's what it boils down to. It is people who storm the Capitol. They're like, oh, I'm being discriminated against. Oh, I'm like a Jew in Nazi Germany because I'm facing consequences for my fucking actions. Because I was involved in an attempted coup. You know, and that's what it boils fucking down to, man. You know, now I'm thinking of the fucking comedy sketch from Ron White that my dad quotes all the fucking time. You can't fix stupid. And maybe that's what it's boiling down to. Maybe it's that simple reassurance that you can't fix stupid. You cannot fix someone who is so delusional that they will compare a mask mandate or a vaccine mandate to some type of political persecution. Because you're not being politically persecuted. You don't fucking know what political or religious persecution is. Let me tell you that. You don't know what the fuck that is. So please, get off your fucking high horse. And stop being a bitch and get the damn vaccine. Seriously, how hard is this? You go to a pharmacy, you schedule it, you go in, you wait 2 weeks, you get the other vaccine, you get the second shot in the same arm, because if you don't get it in the same arm, you're probably going to have like some on again, off again pain in the arm, which I do get from time to time, but it seemingly stopped. It took a while for it to stop, but that's the only thing I've gotten, really. Plus, to be frank, that's not the vaccine's fault. It's the person not really paying attention who's giving it to you. Like, you need to have your arm relaxed, like really relaxed, so the muscles don't tense up. So there's that. So for the person injecting the vaccine, the only thing I can say to you is, please make sure that when you're giving it to them, that the arm is relaxed, so that they don't have that side effect where they'll be working and maybe they'll be carrying some heavy, bulky equipment, and then every once in a while they'll go, fuck, my arm hurts for some random reason. And you're like, oh yeah, that's because someone fucking injected the vaccine in me in a way that wasn't really the best way they could have done it. But hey, that's the worst thing you're going to get. Well, what if I feel sick from it? Okay. That's just a vaccine doing its job. This is just how vaccines work. They give you a little bit of the virus so your body can prepare to fight it. Why is this such a hard concept to understand? But then the idiots go, well, they rushed it out too quickly, and then it was approved too quickly, and then I'm going to pull every fucking straw man I can because I just am too much of a bitch to get vaccinated. And you know, when I see these people who are like, really anti-vaxxer. You got these people who get talked about in the news who pull this shit about, oh, I was able to get into a restaurant and I didn't have to show my vaccine card, which really pissed me off. I'm getting to the fucking point where I'm 100% okay with every store, every restaurant that I go into, them asking me, hi, do you have your vaccine card? Could you please provide evidence that you've been fully vaccinated? And I go, why, yes. And I pull my vaccine card out. Now, there are some people who will get their cards laminated. I forget who I talked to about this, but it was a guy who I talked to. And he said, you probably shouldn't get your vaccine card laminated because if there are boosters, then they won't be able to add it as easily, or they might have to give you a new one and it'll be a pain in the ass, it'll be a clusterfuck. So I was like, okay, I just won't get it laminated. Not that big of a deal. And given the fact that the new variant of COVID is raging on and is highly contagious, there's no rational reason not to do that. I hate this idea that Fauci pushed earlier when, I think before the Delta variant happened, which was, oh, well, we just gotta trust people. You had a year of people bitching and moaning about a fucking face mask. And now you want me to trust those same people to be fully vaccinated. Every time I'm inside a fucking store, I always mask up. I'll wear 2 masks. It's annoying. It's a pain in the ass. The one thing I hate about it is I gotta wear my glasses. And my glasses get fogged up nowadays because it's winter. Doesn't matter what I do, goddamn glasses always get fogged up. And that's really annoying. But hey, it's better than risking getting COVID. It's better than risking needing to go to the hospital. Even though the new variant of COVID isn't as bad as, say, Delta or the previous variant of COVID, at least as of now. I think I've said my piece at this point. So what was the point of this video? Was my goal to persuade you? Was my goal to just get the shit out of the basement? Or was my goal to just rant? I think at this point it was just a rant, because I have no real interest in listening to your misinformation. I'm going to be frank as hell. If you type it, I'm going to delete it, because I'm not platforming that trash. Now you might go, well, Darth Bribely, didn't you just talk about wanting to empathize with people? And isn't the best way to empathize with people is to have a dialogue? Yes. However, I also understand there are some people who cannot be reasoned with. And that sucks.